Hello and welcome back to Hey Karish. My name's Karishma, and with a lot of joy in my heart, I want to welcome our guest to our home and on the show today, Zoha Beig. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much, Karishma, for having me here. It's just feels so nice and so comfortable to come to your podcast and, of course, to your home. Lovely home.
आज हमने freshly have done extra cleaning, extra organizing because we're like Zoha's coming, we better. But it is what it is. It's a house full
it's
of kids.
amazing. Of course.
Chaos.
Yeah. Mashallah. And 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
Total 5.
Total 5. Oh, yeah. If you're 4
Under
here.
this roof, 4.
4, yeah. Total 5.
But yeah. So, Zoha, there is a lot of, there's good reason for us to be chatting today. And I also feel like there's a lot of heart behind this conversation. And I love the fact that on Hey Karish, we call it It's All Heart.
Right.
So let's just go all in today and pour out and really find out everything that the world should know about Zoha Beig and about your brainchild, which we will talk about in just a bit. So for those who don't know, all right, let's just begin from the very beginning. I'm Karishma, and I've been a radio presenter and a TV presenter in Dubai now for more than 16 years.
Mashallah.
Usse pehle in Bombay, of course, the industry is live and vibrant there. So I've worked with World Space Satellite Radio there and a lot of TV there as well. When I started my journey here in this country, I realized that there were people that changed with the seasons.
Right.
And there were people who stayed the same.
Right.
And it's the one who stayed the same that you connected with.
Right.
One of those people is very close to you and is very, very, very special to me. And that's Raza.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think there's enough spoken about Raza, no matter how much is said about him.
Right. Yeah.
So that's how I got to know the Beig family.
Right.
It was through Raza. And then I heard of Zoha, and I heard there's this live wire Zoha who's doing a lot of stuff. Yeah. And I'm talking about 2010 and 2015 ke beech ki baat hai, right?
Yeah.
So those years, and I'm hearing of this name Zoha Beig, but I'm trying to find out who she is.
Right.
And then I finally met you at one do in Dubai,
yeah.
where the who's who like you are the fixtures, So
Right.
I remember meeting you and I remember thinking, what a nice, normal person. What a rare event. Is that how you are today as well? Or you feel like do you get to hear that you're the same, or have you changed, or how has that been for you?
I think been the same throughout. I don't think so there's been any changes. In fact, I think in these years, in 2017, I was detected with cancer. I think it made me more humble. I think some very nice changes came into me. I think for cancer, sometimes when it happens, it's like pulls you down, but I think it just pulled me up.
Wow.
It just was just made me the real true person I always should have been.
Yeah.
So I think I've actually been the same, but now I am more like I want to do meaningful things and I want to spend more time with my family. I understand every day is, memory made. So it's like, these things have hold more value for me than the run and the, whole that. Earlier it was, Raza or Zoha doing some parties and some crazy nonsense going on. But I think on our family parameters, I think everything has changed. We enjoy our family. We enjoy spending more time with our family. For me, working on aspects which are meaningful is what I want to do now. I don't want to be like, oh, I am done this event, or I have, touch wood, God has been kind. I have an events company. I have an interior company. Yes. I have a trading company, and we have 2 brands which we have launched. But I also wanted to do something which will be, which will touch the chord of everybody else. And that's how we got to our super dad.
That's your brainchild.
That's a brainchild.
That's such a sweet thought.
I have seen, means in this, of course, this is just season 2. But season 1, we were so well received by everybody. And I think it was the first of a kind. Nobody's done this before. And, we were like the stories which came in, everything was so impactful for me. It was like each time I read the story, some of them I was in tears, because for me it's very like, I was 2 when I lost my dad. So for me, I didn't have the father. Of course, I had my mother who, filled that mom. And that's the reason we have mom and dad shoes, a category in Super Dad. And of course, Raza was there, who was, he's just 7 years older to me, but he was, just playing all
He
those.
was all of 9 years old then?
Yeah, yeah. So it was like we were really young. And because of that, I think I started, when you don't have that and you look at everybody else's life and say that, they are so lucky to have that. Like recently, one of my friends, she lost her father. She's 50 years old. And she was really in a bad state. And I said, think about 50 years you got with him. I didn't know. I don't remember my dad. I don't remember anything. It's just storytelling by my sisters, which, I said that, okay, these must, it's like they say that dad really loved you.
Yeah.
He carried you. He put you on the shoulder. Those things you're imagining, but I did not feel anything. So this Super Dad is for people to understand the importance of dad. You have someone in your life.
Yeah.
Love them, cherish them,
Yeah.
which is actually like in some of the stories, I felt like really some of the kids really go out of their way for their fathers,
Yeah.
And I hope in this storytelling, we can influence the others to, who don't understand it and they understand this aspect of love and respect for their father. I think we are winners then.
This is a difficult conversation.
Yeah.
I can't imagine you losing your dad at that age. How many siblings are you all?
So we are 6 of us, me being the youngest. I have 4 elder sisters, and then Raza, and then me. Like I think I just came by mistake. I was not planned. No, it's really.
But then the ones that are not planned by man are planned by God.
Yes.
So
yes,
you're the one that God knew. You
that-
have a plan and purpose on your life.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
So 6 of you, and your mom then has to obviously take on much more than she would have imagined once.
Yeah, my mom was a very simple lady. We were married. She was married actually in the Nawabs of Lucknow. So she was, like she knew that she'll be looked after and everything. But when my father passed away because of Sharia, we don't get, the properties and everything. So basically, she had to really look after all of us. So she used her strength. Today, if I have learned anything, like in my darkest moment, it's my mother, I think, who lifts me. And because she used the strength, like she was very good in Quran. So she started giving Quran classes. She was very good in cooking. So she started doing cooking. Like, I remember the story where there was one man who used to sell roti, tandoori roti. And when my father passed away and it was getting really difficult, and she asked him that, if you sell rotis, will you sell some Shami kebabs with it for me, at that time? Because, how else do you get the income? And he said, yeah, I can try, but if it doesn't sell, I get it back to you. And she said, yeah, okay. And that time she made, I think, 1 dozen pav kilo keeme ka. She made 1 dozen kebabs and she gave it. And I think he came back with 6. And then after that, it just built up. And my mother started making more kebabs, and slowly, eventually, she started her Khala's kitchen, where she started making dabbas for, people, and making biryani and everything. So, it's survival, how you are being able to survive. My mother was a survivor, so she used to do stitching. She had 6 kids to feed.
Yeah.
So for her, it was really difficult. And that's the reason I think we grew very fast.
Yeah.
Once my father passed away, in the next 3-4 years, my mother got all my 4 sisters married.
Wow.
I don't know how she did it, but she got them married. And then it was just Raza and me. And we started very young. Raza started tuitions. I started tuitions when I was 13 years old. Of course,
And where is all this happening?
This all happening in Bombay.
In Bombay. Which
Yeah.
part of Bombay?
We in Bandra, we
Nice.
are near Carter Road, Shirley Rajan Road. And so we lived there. We did whatever hustle we could. Raza had classes, tuitions he used to do. And so whatever his students were there, I was teaching them where, from age 13. And at a very young age, because we knew that my mom was working very hard. She had a slip disc eventually because, doing cooking and everything. We were taking multiple tasks to do. So at very young age, we grew really fast.
Yeah.
And I joined Kuwait Airways as stewardess.
Right.
And that's how I was the first one to come out. Raza was still there in Bombay. And
Right.
when the Bombay riots happened,
Yeah.
that's the time Raza came to Dubai.
93.
93.
So,
Yeah,
of course,
so
we're still calling it Bombay. We understand it's Mumbai.
Mumbai, yeah.
But for a lot of us who, spent the 80s, 90s
Yeah.
in Bombay, when
Yeah,
it was Bombay, it
Bombay.
remains that as a
Yeah,
sentiment.
Yeah.
So that's
It's
when...
very, very difficult for us to call it Mumbai, because we always called it Bombay.
Yeah.
But we now try correcting ourselves and saying it's Mumbai.
Yeah. If you don't correct yourself, somebody will correct.
Someone will
Don't
correct.
worry.
That's actually fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Raza comes to Dubai. Is it in 93?
Yes.
All right. And then you were in Kuwait.
I was in Kuwait 91. I joined Kuwait Airways. Yeah.
Did you follow him here or?
So I was flying for about 7.5 years in Kuwait. And by that time, we had settled mom. She was in a better space.
What do you mean you had settled, Mom?
Means
How?
It was difficult for us, right, to run a house and, everything.
Yeah.
So once I came over here to Kuwait, I could
Send money home.
Send money home. We were the highest paid cabin crew at that time.
Right.
Because Kuwait is the currency is the highest in the world. So we were the highest paid at that time. So things became comfortable.
Yeah.
And Raza at that time had a cable company and he had a stitching unit for shirts. And so once that Raza was going on, and then, as I said, the riots happened, and then he realized that, he needs to get out. And so then he came to, 93, he came here. And that's how. And then I stayed 7.5 years in Kuwait. I got married there. And then I shifted to Dubai in 1998, actually.
I'm going to ask you to go back to your childhood for a minute.
Sure.
Okay, because I have had a situation wherein I was raising my two girls and my son was not born yet when I lost my husband. And so, in the journey that we did together as me and just the kids, I think there were times when I was able to put in a little of, one day at a time and just get to the next day. But there were times when I would absolutely, want to just close the door, not have anyone talk to me, just be on my own, or just not hear one more demand from someone who needs something from me. Was your mom ever, because, in those days, I don't know how much attention was being paid to moms who were managing stuff on their own.
I don't think that she had the privilege to do that.
Yeah.
She had to.
You just have
be
to,
there.
yeah.
And she had to make sure she had 6 kids.
Did she ever
and she had no
lose
support.
it? Like,
I have never.
Chapet lagai hai, like, enough, leave me alone.
My mother was the most simple, humble. I think there was one incident, which I should say, which actually straightened everybody in our house. So when my father passed away, he took my mother to Muradabad, where my Nana and all were there, and he passed away there actually. And with no means and no money also, she made sure that his last wish was that he is buried in our ancestral
graveyard
plot.
Yeah.
And she made sure that she takes him over there and she buried him in Daryabad. And then our father said that, why don't you stay back over here? We'll be able to look after you. And she said, no, my husband's last wish was that my kids need to be properly educated. And I know that proper education will only happen in Mumbai. He said, how will you survive? Because, you've not, because of the Sharia, you've not got anything. And my mother had hardships going on because my father had heart attack while he was for 7 years on bed, like literally. So she had those hardships and she said, no, I need to make sure that I take them back to Bombay, Mumbai. And she got us back. And she, my Nana came back with us and he knew or he thought that maybe if she fails, he'll be able to take her back. So he said, I'll stay with you. And then it was her time to prove that no, that the decision that she's taken,
It's gonna stand by
she's
it.
going to stand by it.
Yeah.
My mother did not study a lot because though all her sisters were teachers and principal, my mother, she studied her 10th, and then my nanny was really unwell, and to look after her she stayed back.
Right.
So her only education what she had was Quran, stitching and cooking. This is only what she came back with. I could say the honor that she had, that she would do. And when she came back here, she sent everybody to school. So Raza has gone to school, and suddenly he realizes that dad is gone and he's the man of the house, right? And he has gone to school and he's bunked school, right? And my sisters have gone out to buy something and they find him in one of the shop and they get him home. And my mother has never even raised a voice to us, like not even shouted at us ever. And he came home and my mother said, you didn't go to school? And he said, no, I went. And of course he bunked, like he was okay with it. That was my mother was ironing clothes at that time. Just took the cord and she just threw at him. No, we did not know who is this woman, right? Like we've never heard her even shout at us or even talk in a loud tone. She's from Lucknow, very down tone, everything. And we did not, who is this woman, right? Suddenly. And she told my Nana, take him to school right now, And he took him to school. And the principal there, he had that habit that if they bunked, he had to give them a whack on their back or something like that, And then he said like, okay, pull your shirt up. When he pulled his shirt up, he already saw that he had a mark already, And he said, what happened? So he said, no, the mother was upset. And so he came back home, Raza. That whole night, my mother has cried by putting the medicine ointment on him. But that one incident straightened all of us in the family. So that was a story to tell. And after that, Raza, I think, got his all senses back. He was then suddenly back again, becoming a really great student and really concentrating on study. I was, of course, only like really young at that time. So, of course, I was only learning with, the like from Raza, basically, because he was older to me. And my other 4 sisters were already married and gone. So, so I think that was the only time I think my mother only in her life once lost her cool, because I think he challenged her that you will not be able to do it and you have to go back to UP, And she had to prove it to her father and to the family that she can stay in Mumbai and survive and look after her children.
Hats off. I mean, just hats off. So those were, I think, tough years back in those days. And to raise, your children.
6 kids and also having 5 daughters.
But, can I tell you, if she had 5 sons?
It's another thing. Really, like I have 2 daughters and I feel so blessed because, like they are so, like my elder daughter, Arwa, she's like literally like there for me in my hardest and my worst time. I think she just was holding me, and though she was really young. And now I have a 3.5-year-old. Like, so she's like, I think changed everything for everybody in the family, whether Sohail, whether Arwa, whether me. And
Wow. That's quite an age gap. Arwa's sitting right here, so we're looking at her. That's a huge age gap right there. And what was Arwa's first reaction to this? Was she excited?
She's really happy. She says, "Aap log to buddhe hain, you're like old." Like she's actually my child. I think our Amira came as a blessing to us. She changed everything in our life.
Was she like you, an unplanned gift of God?
No,
No.
actually, as I told you, in 2017, I was detected with
Yes.
cancer.
Yes.
And so when cancer happened, I had cervic cancer. So when I had at that time,
Yeah.
we were already doing an
Yeah.
IVF because we were planning a child.
Yeah.
Sohail and me. Sohail is my second husband, right?
Right.
I had my ex-husband I whose R was had a divorce, and so when I got married, and that also I got married, which I didn't want to get married, but my mother's last wish was that she wanted me to be settled. So the day before my mother passed away, we got married. So, and then we said it rightfully, Sohail, Sohail, he's like real sweetheart. He just stayed with me, though I told him that I'm not sure whether I can get married because, in Sharia law, if I would get married, I would lose custody of my daughter,
Yeah.
and which I could not part with Arwa for anything in
Yeah.
life. And he very patiently, he has just been there. Some men, I think we are blessed, like Sohail, Chandran, like we are really blessed to have men like this in our lives. And yeah, so then we did IVF, and it didn't means we were working on
Yeah.
it, and when cancer hit me. Yeah, so the embryos were done, and then I was suddenly got to know that I have cancer. So I did an embryo transfer, and then it didn't really, of course, it was negative. You get to know after 9 days.
Right. Okay.
And then it was negative, and then I said, what's going on? And we did a scan and everything to find out that I had cancer. And I went down to Bombay, and I went to 5 to 6 doctors
Yeah.
to get a confirmation that it is, because in my head it is that it's not happening. It cannot be,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I was in shock that how come, I'm doing this IVF, y'all are scanning me in and out, and y'all have missed that there is a small tumor growing in the cervix, and gone to 3 other doctors, and all
And
of them, everyone
everyone's
said that
missed
it's
this.
okay, missed it. How is it? And it's like there was an IVF doctor also. It was Dr. Sarita also. And then, so it was,
Is this something that happens? That something like, cancer of the cervix can be missed like that?
it was in, I don't know. Like if you're scanning me inside, you should be able to see it. And not only one, but I had like 3, 4 doctors checking me at that time. How is it even possible? But it was what it was. And then I took the decision of doing my surgery in Mumbai. My whole family was in shock because I was the one who's actually in the family always managing everything, planning everything, whether home, whether parties, whether everything was Zoha's
Yeah.
work
Yeah.
to be done. And it was suddenly a shock for the whole family that suddenly you're in the position where you're vulnerable and people want to look after you, where you have looked after everybody all your life. So that was a sudden
Shift.
shock shift
Yeah.
for me. And yeah, so I did the surgery, we did the chemo, we did the radiation. I came back to Dubai with full energy that I'm going to change my life, and I'm going to fix everything, and I'm going to work really hard for my daughter, and I have to. And after 6 months, I went for a checkup and I had a relapse. And when I had a relapse, and it's like they're giving you a death warrant saying that your time is up. Like even the
That's
doctors literally tell you that no guarantee, yeah? Like this is what they tell you when you have a relapse for sure. At least when you have cancer, they say, okay, this is first time when I had cancer, they said you have 30% of survival. But when you have a relapse, they say that there's no guarantee because it's a relapse. Where it is reached, we really don't know, right? And that time I had planned a holiday because I was so excited. I planned a holiday. It was my birthday on 4th December. And I had planned a holiday to Maldives with my whole family, Raza and his wife and Ali and Arwa and Sohail. We were all planning to go to Maldives. My tickets were booked. The hotels were done, everything. So I just said that I'm going. We'll do my PET scan. We get the report. We come back. And then on 2nd, we leave.
yeah.
And when I went over there, again, they said, no, cancer is there. And it was very strange because it was over my bladder. So it
Right.
is not connected by any sense. So maybe I do not know what, we don't know the reason, but there was cancer. And
Right.
then we had to take immediate action because it was growing really fast.
Hmm.
And they said that, okay, you have to do a surgery here. And then, of course, chemo. Then again, the whole family was, Arva was only 17 at that time. It was her last year, means in school. And I think it was most difficult for her
Yeah.
because, it was, I don't know, I'm reliving it. So it was not very easy I think uh, as it is difficult, but on family it's
Yeah.
worse.
Those who love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think she took the most toll. So Hale did not know because nothing for him without me worked. For Raza, it was just a very
Yeah.
tough time.
Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, as they say, this too shall pass.
Yeah, yeah, it shall pass. Touch wood has
And it
passed.
did. And it
Yeah,
did.
it did.
It
It did
did.
pass. And thank you. Sorry.
No, no, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, and then, of course, I had my surgery, I had chemo, and then I had 1 year of maintenance of,
Hmm.
in my first cancer, I
Yeah.
didn't lose my hair because they gave me light dose of chemo.
Right.
I think for the sanity of my family, I didn't want that to happen. So second time when chemo happened, it was very strong. They told me that if you want to save your head, you have to put some ice cap.
Okay.
Everything, yeah.
Okay.
I I put that ice cap for 3 of my chemos. It was like ice sitting on your head and chemo going through your veins. And I had a surgery for my port, which they put for me. It was 3 on my first chemo. I think anybody going through cancer, I'll tell them don't do that. Look after your sanity. Don't think about anything, right? I've always thought that I would go bald and everything, but I didn't. I took it like, I didn't want Arwa to be shocked. I didn't want Sohail to be affected and my whole family,
Yeah. Yeah.
And, but it was not a really nice experience.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that
Yeah.
you've been through this. And
But as I said, it was a blessing in disguise in certain ways. I learned to uh, live life for myself, learn to say no, learn to say that it's enough how much I can do. Like earlier, I, I did more than what I should be doing.
hang on a minute.
Yeah.
You're telling me that you, Zoha Beig, you're an influential person from an influential family in this country, and you're telling me you had difficulty saying no?
Yeah. I never knew how to say no. I think because that would be from my upbringing of my mom.
Mm.
Because she always went an extra mile for people
Mm.
in every possible way. So I didn't know how to say no.
So where are you now drawing the line? Where is it now?
In everything.
Yeah.
In everything. I've learned to say no. When I'm tired, I learned to say that no, I'm tired. I need to rest. You know, I was still going through my treatment of cancer
Yeah.
at that time,
Yeah.
my maintenance. But I think it was a beautiful journey. And that's where I started doing things which, made me really happy. Earlier, I did a lot of things. And for me, because of my mother, I wanted to create an experience for everybody and make everybody happy. My happiness was to make everybody around me really happy and not seeing how much toll it was taking on me.
Yeah.
And I think after cancer, I decided that I need to see how I can be happy and how I can make the family happy. So yeah,
Good. I mean, it's a journey,
yeah, it's a
isn't it?
journey.
Life is like that. We
Yeah,
learn our lessons in the places that we least expect to.
yeah.
And I think through this, somewhere you decided to get on with this event company, 321 Events.
3 to 1 events was already there. Actually, in 2009, we started the events company.
Right.
Events company also started because we were trying to actually help a friend whose husband had lost his job, and his interest was to do something in events. And that's how I entered into events.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
You launched a company so someone could get into events.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
very cool.
Yeah. But it was short lived. They had to leave and they
Yeah.
had to go. And then suddenly the company was on. And then I said, okay, like
Yeah.
now I will do it. Anyway,
Right.
in the house, I was in charge of everything, the
Yeah.
parties, the house, and everything. And then
Yeah.
I said, what is an event
Yeah.
company? It's celebration,
Yeah.
it's making people happy, and let me just go on with it.
Can,
So,
given the number of parties you guys host, you would have
Yeah.
been your biggest client.
I was my biggest client.
So tell me then, so 321 Events was there since 2009.
Yeah.
Super Dad has come up now to 2024,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, right.
How long were you brainstorming on Super Dad Awards, and how long was this a thought in your mind?
I think Super Dad was in my mind since I was in Kuwait.
No way.
Yeah, because as I said, I lost my father, so I saw
Yeah.
all the men's journey very closely.
Yeah.
And I saw like so many of my friends, my colleagues, they worked really hard. They like my lot of my brother-in-laws and all also were working, and they used to stay out of the like my brother-in-law was in the mom,
Yeah.
and he used to stay 11 months there just to come 1 month to have a memorable time with their family and their kids. And I used to just see that it is casual
Hmm.
कि उनको करना है
Hmm.
ऐसा नहीं है it should not be like that.
Yeah.
It should be that they are equal pillar in our family life.
Absolutely.
They are very important. And ironically, it's not only their duty to people think that financially they need to, but there are a lot of sacrifices these men do. It's unbelievable. Staying away from your family. I'm talking about that Kuwait times, 11 months, eating food like, oh, yeah, I'll eat this. क्योंकि शायद
Save money.
5 kg बच जाएगा 1 kg बच जाएगा like save that money so that they can give their family a better life, a better house, better the children get what they want. I think remarkable job these men do.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And of course the women, as I said, we are very well celebrated, and rightfully it should be. But men also need that celebration. There's nothing like this which is happened. So it was there with me since Kuwait, and then life happened. We got busy, and then cancer happened, and then COVID happened. And during that time, if you remember, Arwa did this ABB,
Yes.
Arwa
Yes.
Beauty Belief,
Yes.
where she did some really good work for these frontliners,
Yes.
for the doctors.
I remember she was on my radio show as well. I
Yeah.
remember interviewing Arva for
Yeah,
that.
Yeah. So during that time, I think I realized that how uh, amazing it is that, if you can do something like that, which is so meaningful. It was so meaningful. I think when Arwa at that time was giving them a ticket back home, and she was giving them like, I think, a staycation or something, it just made them feel so great. She used to do their makeup. She used to take them out for dinner and, all that thing, and just make them live a really amazing life at that time. Like she did it with, I think, the frontliners. She did it with special need kids, and she did that. And that's the time I think my think of Super Dad became even stronger. That
Yeah.
I want to do something which is meaningful. I wanted to always do something meaningful, but we were in that 99 race, like where how will we make that 100? How will we make that 110? We were in that race. But that time I said, I want to do this. And when I spoke to whoever I spoke to, they said, "Oh, it's an amazing idea, but not sure how it would perceive. But then I said, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, and you did. You just suddenly last year
Yeah.
there was an invite I received.
Yeah.
And it was just like, wow, what is this? It's interesting. It's new.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I told Chandran about it, he said, we'll go. But I don't think Chandran or me expected or saw how much this meant to you. I don't think we saw that off the surface of it.
Right. Yeah.
That this was not just another thing.
Right.
It was not just another plaque being given out because you want to do a PR thing, or you're not doing it for marketing, you're not doing it for you're doing it because you really believe in this. And so when we attended the launch and when we is when we started to realize that, wait a minute, there's something that's really deep going on here. So obviously, you losing your dad at the age that you did, you living your life noticing other dads and their contributions, or men in general and their contributions to their families, has led to this place where now there's going to be dads like last year, who every year will walk away feeling like they were recognized, appreciated. And those are the things that everyone appreciates, just someone noticed that I did something and you noticed it, because they're not doing it for noticing.
Yeah, they think karna hai hame,
Yeah.
Like when we did the award function, I remember like so many dads, we had the interview after that and they said, this is amazing. Like we finally feel appreciated. We finally feel heard, like we are seen by everybody.
Yeah.
And I don't think so it was right, because we should always make them feel that they are really so important in our family.
Yeah.
And but I'm so glad that I took this initiative, and I was really happy with how the whole outcome came. Of course, as you know, that we launched it on Father's Day.
Yes.
But the event happened in November, where we did the award function, and this year we're doing it on Father's Day. So 15th June is Father's Day internationally.
Right.
And 21st we celebrated here in UAE. Our award function is on 14th June.
Oh, nice.
So I said, now moving forward, I want to do it on Father's Day so that they feel
even more.
Yeah. Like वरना क्या होता है Father's Day पे? They say, okay, एक mug दे देते हैं dad को, एक card दे देते हैं, and said, even for the men to get flowers, they feel like, whether should we give the men flowers? Why not?
Yeah.
Right? Why are we not giving the men flowers? They deserve it, So, yeah.
Yeah. On that note, I think it's time for us to bring in one more person into the show. Shall we, Zoha?
Of course. I'm really looking forward to this conversation with a special one.
Chandran does not enjoy being in the spotlight at all. So I bring him on as many episodes as possible. And here we have the beautiful, wonderful Mr. Captain Chandran. And
the super dad of the year 2024.
Yep.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Hey Karish, love.
Pleasure to be here.
That's what you're saying now.
Little awkward, but yes.
All right. Okay. So Zoha, last year you brought quite a lot of joy to our home.
Oh.
I don't know if you realize this, but we were having a very difficult year, and I think sometimes families, in that up and down, when you're just going niche, you gave us something as a family to celebrate about. And I remember telling Chandran, it feels like we finally had a win.
Oh.
Not only for him, like the whole family felt like he was feeling great, the kids were feeling great, I was feeling great, because it just brought us closer together. And that's what you did at that award.
Thank you. But he has a really inspiring story. In fact, I remember, Karishma, when you lost your first husband, you were living in Gardens, right?
Yes.
I came to your house.
Yes.
When with Raza.
Yes.
Then, and I was in, like, how, because you were pregnant at that time. and it was such a difficult journey for you. And it was a big shock because we had learned Krishma always on radio and like all that chirpy one, and suddenly this thing had happened. And when I met you, I didn't meet you for very long after
Yeah.
that. And when I met you with Chandran,
Yeah.
it gave me so much happiness. It gave me so much happiness because I think this is what, you know, really amazing men, you'll found each other, you'll found love in each other. And, sometimes you feel that, oh, what is this God planned for me? And everything is over, right? And God got Chandran for you, such an amazing story. So nice. Like your third child, I think he did not see your ex, and Chandran is actually the father. And how amazing today you have an 8 months old, another one. And Chandran, you have such an inspiring story, and I wish that everybody learns from you because, you find love, but you take responsibility of Karishma, but you took responsibility of the kids, the two elder girls, and then, and the third one, and then so, we want your story to go out to people, to tell them that, learn from men like this, like we want to change the men whole perception,
Yeah.
and we own what they do. And it's very rare that you find men like you. And that is the reason you deserve to be Super Dad of the Year.
Oh, thank you. But I think it's exactly what you said. You know, it is love, which
Yeah.
is the driving force. And too often, I think we're afraid.
Yeah.
We're afraid to take that responsibility that you're talking about. But if you just let love do its job, then everything becomes a lot easier. And I think too often we forget about love in trying to be, something. And so I get a lot of love from the family, the kids, Karishma,
Yeah.
and every day it's a sort of a learning for me as well. So it's not something that I consciously tried to do. It's just happened. So the takeaway really, I think, is that don't be afraid.
Yeah.
And that's my 2 bits. And I've had you've met my parents here. They throughout their journey as parents, that's what they've done. They've faced all the fears and taken responsibility, and sometimes sacrificed their own
Upbringing and
Yes.
all that thing, is really an important part. You took it from your parents, and of course, with your family, you gave it to the kids, and you're giving them. I've seen Karishma's daughter saying in the video which you all made last, and saying that he filled in for our dad, and he is our dad who's given us so much love. So
yeah.
it's so lovely.
I think, and whether the kids are biologically yours or not, I think the
doesn't
struggles
matter.
are pretty much, they're there.
Right.
So you have to brace yourself for impact as parents for
Yeah.
that all the time. You've got, Arva, you've got a little 3.5-year-old. You're going to do the whole journey,
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
You know what it's like.
Yeah. For me, I suddenly feel like everybody said Arva was almost 20 when Amira came into our
Yeah.
life, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you have to relive everything again, but I was scared, but I think it was the most amazing thing. And for
Yes.
Sohail,
Yes. Yes.
I think if I could award him also Super Dad of the Year, I would do that because he been an amazing dad.
Yeah.
Like from making sure that, changing her, making her go to sleep. That's his duty. Like in the night, he had to wake up in the night to make sure he's giving her the milk and changing her and everything. So dads are amazing.
They
Like
really
I really love to see, and touch wood, I'm been blessed. Of course, I lost my dad, but I had Raza,
Yes.
and I got Sohail in my life, and I got some men, my brother-in-laws and all, who I saw some really lovely stories, how much they work so hard for their family and what they are sacrificing and everything.
Yeah.
And I think with Chandran's story, I think out over there, I think if we have been able to give out his story, and Chandran, we really would want you to be there on 14th June to give the award to the super dad of the year,
Yay.
because that would be so meaningful that we in fact want whoever, like those categories, if their fathers can come and give away their award with, of course, whoever else
Yes.
is there, but meaningful would be with Chandran giving away the award.
Definitely,
inshallah, to the
yeah,
super dad.
for sure.
Yeah.
It'll be an honor for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'll definitely
yeah.
be there.
So I think this one's for all the families.
Yes.
Please do nominate
Yeah.
dads and make sure that you let them know that we're noticing them, we're appreciating them. I think it's really important to talk about everything that men go through. We
Right.
understand, loneliness. We understand, the fears that women have, because we're just a lot more
Vocal about
right?
it, right?
For as far as men are concerned, there is not much conversation about what loneliness they encounter. What is it that they're looking for in life? What is it that their fears are? What is it that brings them, some sort of satisfaction of a
Right.
job well done?
Yeah.
What are these things about the men in our lives? So this is a great opportunity, really, to get to know the men in our lives a lot better. I think in a way it'll benefit all the
Families. Actually,
entirely.
it's not only about, of course, it's celebrating the dad,
Yes.
but it as you said,
Yes.
Zoha, that it helped the whole family.
It's a win for the
it's a
whole
win for
family, yeah.
It just suddenly makes you feel so connected. You
Yes.
feel that love. You feel that, I think it changes everything.
Agreed.
So I hope that this year also we have some amazing stories.
Yes.
And we be able to inspire some other younger generation also.
Yes. People who are scared of
Are
being
scared of being
parents,
and,
right?
yeah.
There's
So
a lot of
many
that.
of
Yes.
them are nowadays scared of, like they don't want to take the responsibility. They don't understand how beautiful it is.
Yes.
And how rewarding it is in every possible way.
Yes. Thank you, Zoha.
Thank you so much, Karishma. It was so lovely talking to you.
You're an absolute delight to speak to.
Oh, thank
And I think we've enjoyed getting to know you
Yeah.
up close and personal, as they say.
Yeah, whether we met in these parties and nothing, and it was really meaningful.
What can we change things?
Yes.
I feel I've reached that place in my life where I'm
Same.
yearning for good conversations where we
Same.
can sit down and talk.
Same.
That-
This was so meaningful. Like I'll take a happiness with me with all the conversation that we had, and I think more of this should happen.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you,
Zoha.
Karishma.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Chandran.